when the past is not actually in the past. So this video is a culmination of a bunch of comments that I've seen, conversations I've had with clients, things I've experienced myself, and I just want to bring some clarity around it so that I can offer you some comfort in how this ascension process works. So the ascension process is an intricately, divinely timed interventional dance that we are doing with ourselves, with God, with energy, and with our healing. It's 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 1 step back. This is the way the process works. And because the ego that can only operate from linearity, it gets all confused and thinks that you're doing something wrong. The other piece to this is I sometimes see in my comments or with clients where I'll mention a topic or something will come up and they'll go, oh yeah, no, I did a lot of healing work on that. Like that's in the past. And if you think that, or you hear that, or you observe yourself saying or believing that anything at all is in the past and we don't need to look at that, ask yourself which version of you is saying that. Which version of you has connected to the fact that healing has happened and has now decided that we're done with that topic? That chapter's closed. We're not done and through until we're done and through. And things that you may have spent focus, attention, time, tears, dark nights of the soul on these certain subjects doesn't necessarily mean that they are done and in the past as a closed chapter until your higher self decides that. So I'm just going to share with you very briefly how this has all sort of played out for me recently in a way that will help you understand. The whole Chiron thing, I did a video on Chiron. Chiron was conjunct with the solar eclipse on April 8th, etc., etc. This video is fine whenever it meets you. And it was brought to my attention. I've never really dove that deeply into astrology. Astrology isn't something that I am mastered in any way, shape, or form, but I couldn't get away from this topic. It just kept coming up. And I was like, wow, what is this whole Chiron core wound, inner child trauma essence that the universe is trying to get my attention? What is the higher self trying to warn me about, tell me about? Where is it that they want me to look? And once I really sort of anchored in what the whole Chiron thing was, something came up for me that was a part of my childhood. It was related to sexual abuse that I didn't really have any memories of. There was sort of one event that was kind of sketchy in my mind, and I wasn't sure my whole life whether it was a dream or a memory or like what had actually happened. But it came up. It came up with a vengeance. It came up with all of the feeling in my body, everything, the self-shame, the self-judgment, the little girl that did something wrong, feeling dirty in my body, all of the feelings came up. And I cried and cried and journaled and cried and slept and cried and spoke to my guides. And I was like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that this would come up at this juncture, at this stage in my journey. And I did ask, was there any other time? And they were like, there was one other time, but we're not telling you about it because your ego will only attach to more stories. It doesn't need to be known to you what the other event was. And that made sense to me because I do have a belief that the more information we feed the ego, the more we decorate the ego in this process, it just holds you back. You don't actually need to know the story and the ins and the outs of every single thing that happened to you. You just have to have a willingness to be with the energy as the energy presents. So their guidance to me was there was one other time, but I didn't need to know. And okay, fair enough. And my sort of like was taken aback, not only for the healing that was asked of me, but that I have done an incredible amount of inner child work. And while I never sort of call in myself by saying, oh, I'm done all of my inner child work, because I know that that's just like you're cursing yourself when you say that. It is sort of my superpower. It is my niche. It is where I'm able to really help clients and connect with their inner child and help them bring their own inner child back home. So I didn't understand that I had reached this level of mastery where the inner child healing had come into my practice, and yet I still had this great big thing of my own that still needed to be healed. And then, I sat with that, and the way that that unpacked within me was that I needed to be this version of me in order to be able to hold and heal that aspect of myself quickly, efficiently, without it taking me down, taking me out, or pulling me under. So that is the divine wisdom. That is how intricate this process is that you truly are only ever given the level of healing for you to do as far as your release work, dissolving your wounds and traumas based on where you're at in your journey. So is it possible that the past is not ever completely in the past? Yes, because you are evolving. The consciousness in your body and its ability to release density quickly and efficiently without creating a whole bunch of drama, trauma, and setting you back, that all has to be divinely timed. And that is what's happened for me very recently, in that I could have easily said, I'm done all my inner child stuff. And then this came up, but I know that it came up at a time where I was ready, able, at a consciousness level, I was stable, and the consciousness that I hold in my body, the frequency of my body meant that I was able to release this. And quite honestly, it only took 2 days at the most from start to finish. And now, other than the fact that I can speak of it to the degree of using it as a teaching point, if I weren't talking about it to you right now as this conversation is happening, it feels kind of like it happened years and years and years ago. Like it's so grainy, my memory can't even really reach for what literally just happened within the last month. So please do not beat yourself up that as these energies flow through you, that there are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're being pulled back, where you're going to get on a roll and you're going to be feeling good and the energies are going to come and go and you're going to be like, oh, I'm really getting this good. I'm doing good. Look at me. Look at me. And then all of a sudden, an M-class flare comes through, or some other event happens in your life, in your physical reality, that makes you feel like you're being knocked all the way back. And you can't ever go back. You can't go backwards. You cannot do that. You can't slip back. You can't undo the work you've done. You can't get the consciousnesses back into your body that you've already released. It's literally impossible to go back. So, despite what the ego might be telling you, you are always going forward, but you are moving forward again as a for you constructed by the higher self that knows the consciousness level that you are holding and the level of frequency in your body, and it will drop in whatever is next for you to be healed based on the values of who you have become and how easily and quickly you can move through this as that density and the value of you that you are today are met. So, no self-defeating thoughts. No, I'm doing this wrong. No, I'm going backwards. But also, you have to know that the past is not always in the past. I hope that this helps you. Meet me in the comments. Bye for now.